Hi everybody, I'm Ryan, and today we're going to talk about flex slots in Jeskai Oculus in Standard. So we'll look at cards you're pretty much bought into playing if you play Jeskai Oculus, how many slots are left, and then we'll look at the cards you can play in those slots to make your own but stock build of Jeskai Oculus. Let's do it. So this is Jeskai Oculus. These are the cards you're pretty much bought into playing if you're playing this deck. These 55 cards in the main deck and these 4 cards in the sideboard. If you want to look at this for a little bit longer and see the cards you pretty much have to play, please pause the video. We're going to be talking about what 5 cards do you play in the main deck to fill out the rest of the deck, and what 11 cards do you play in the sideboard to fill out the rest of the deck. These are our options. The goal of this video is we're going to be selecting 5 of these 14 cards and 11 of these 17 cards to round out our deck and make our very own build. So let's talk about these cards. You can be playing up to 2 Bounce Off. Bounce Off is a 1-mana instant. Return target creature or vehicle to its owner's hand. Very good at getting things out of the way. You can also protect your own creatures and get additional enter the battlefield effects if you would like. Into the Floodmaw is another option, is a 1-mana instant. You could gift a tapped fish if you would like to return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. If the gift was promised, instead return target non-land permanent an opponent controls to its owner's hand. This can be really good against graveyard hate. You know, end step, getting rid of graveyard hate, untapping, do our reanimation stuff or whatever, while still fulfilling the role of getting rid of things. Though you can't protect your own creatures with Into the Floodmaw, so that's pretty relevant. We could be playing up to 3 Scrapwork Mutt. It's a 2-mana 2/1. When Scrapwork Mutt enters, you may discard a card if you do draw a card, and you can unearth it for 1 and red. So you can do it twice, which is kind of fun. This is a reasonably aggressive card. It allows us to fill up our graveyard, allows us to put things like Aberrant Oculus into our graveyard, allows us to have that card selection. Just all around pretty decent. It just isn't powerful in and of itself, especially compared to the rest of the deck. We could be playing a single Get Lost. Get Lost is a 2-mana instant. Destroy target creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. Its controller creates 2 map tokens. Just a pretty unconditional removal that you could be playing. Very good against enchantments specifically. You could be playing a Shelter by Ghost, a 2-mana enchantment. You can enchant a creature you control. When Shelter by Ghost enters, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until Shelter by Ghost leaves the battlefield. Enchant your creature gets +1/+0, has lifelink, and ward 2. You'd be playing this in the main deck if you basically want a better card against aggressive decks. This is mostly for a card for the aggressive decks. You could be laying up to 2 Kitsa, Otterball Elite. It's a 2-mana 1/3 with Vigilance and Prowess. You can tap it to draw a card, then discard a card. You can pay 2 mana and tap it to copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Activate only if Kitsa's power is 3 or greater. So this rewards you for playing a lot of spells in the same turn, which this deck is pretty good at doing. Mostly allows you to have a loot effect on a stick, right? Draw a card, discard a card, which is what this deck wants to be doing because it wants to be putting Oculus into the graveyard, or a bunch of other cards in the graveyard so you can cast Oculus from your hand. You could be playing the 4th Prophetic Memory. Prophetic Memory is a 2-mana legendary enchantment. When it enters, draw a card. You have no maximum hand size. In the beginning of combat in your turn, if you've drawn more than 1 card this turn, put up X +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, where X is the number of cards you've drawn this turn -1. This deck draws a ton of cards, so playing cards like Prophetic Memory can turn a creature that isn't very good into a must answer, especially good alongside cards that have Vigilance. We could play in the 3rd Inti Seneschal of the Sun. It's a 2-mana 2/2. Whenever you attack, you may discard a card. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature against trample until end of turn. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until your next end step. So this effectively allows us to draw cards. Not exactly drawing cards. It just lets us play cards off the top of our deck, but also allows us to help fill up our graveyard and be more aggressive. I think the downside of this card is that it's legendary. So playing a 3rd one is entering the territory of, like, you know, not being able to play the 2nd card from your hand. We could be playing a Pyroclasm in the main deck. Pyroclasm is a 2-mana sorcery. It deals 2 damage to each creature. Very good against aggressive decks and decks that generally want to go wide. We could be playing one of Lauren of the Third Path. It is a 3-mana 2/1 with Vigilance. When Lauren of the Third Path enters, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment. You can tap it to have you and target opponent each draw a card. You're not really using for the draw card ability. That is a bit of a last-ditch effort, you know, kind of interesting, like, text. But playing this as a Vigilance creature to combo with Prophetic Memory is nice. Also, entering to destroy target artifact or enchantment is the reason we would be playing it. So you're going to be selecting 5 of these 14 cards. And then if we look at the sideboard, we're going to be looking for 11 cards. So you can be playing Destroy Evil. I believe this is the third Destroy Evil. It's a 2-mana instant. Destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater. Destroy target enchantment. Really good against big-butted flyers that are looking to block us or whatever. Shieldred is really good against our deck. Takes out that and also takes out things like Leyline Binding and whatever, and destroying enchantments. We're playing up to Exercise. Exercise, a 2-mana sorcery. Exile target artifact, enchantment, or creature with power 4 or greater. Fulfills a lot of the same roles as Destroy Evil. However, its sorcery speed, so meh. Can deal with artifacts, which is really nice. And Exile actually really matters with the enduring creatures. We play in 2 more Sheltered by Ghosts. Again, it's for the aggressive decks. We've already talked about that because it's in the main deck. Same thing with the Pyroclasm. We've already talked about it. We've been playing up to 2 Brotherhood's End, which is a 3-mana sorcery. Deals 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. Destroy all artifacts with mana value 3 or less. Really good against artifacts. Can kill more things than Pyroclasm because a lot of these red decks butts can get pretty big pretty quick. So it's pretty relevant. Playing up to 3 Chandra Spark Hunter. It's a 4-mana planeswalker that starts at 4 loyalty. It says, begin a combat in your turn, choose up to 1 target vehicle you control. Until end of turn, it becomes an artifact creature and gains haste. You can give it +2 loyalty. To may sacrifice an artifact, discard a card. If you do, draw a card. 0, create a 3/2 colorless vehicle artifact creature token with crew 1. And its -7 is you get an emblem with whenever an artifact you control enters. This emblem deals 3 damage to any target. So you would want this card against decks that are pretty good at answering your primary game plan, and you want to go really long with because you can make these vehicles, be able to apply pressure every single turn, and also it goes along with our game plan, which is discarding cards and drawing a cards. We're playing up to 2 Ghost Vacuum. Ghost Vacuum is just great graveyard hate. It is a 1-mana artifact. Tap it to exile target card from a graveyard, and we can pay 6 mana and tap it to sacrifice Ghost Vacuum. Put each creature card exile with Ghost Vacuum onto the battlefield under your control with a flying counter on it. Each of them is a 1/1 spirit in addition to other types. Activate only as a sorcery. So, there's end game payoff for playing Ghost Vacuum. You get these end of the battlefield effects all again and whatever, you get the enters 1/1s or whatever, but being able to play this on turn 1, pressure your opponent's graveyard, and then get a payoff if the game was really long, we love. Soul Guide Lantern is another option for a graveyard hate. It's a 1-mana artifact. When it enters, exile a card from a graveyard. We can tap it and sacrifice the artifact to exile each opponent's graveyard in its entirety. So exiling entire graveyards can sometimes be better than exiling 1 card every turn. We can pay 1 mana and sacrifice it to draw a card. So we can have Soul Guide Lantern replace itself. It's just a lot more flexible than Ghost Vacuum, though it doesn't have the end game awesomeness that Ghost Vacuum has. And we could be playing up to Filigree Xylex. It's a legendary artifact. We can tap it to put an oil counter on it. You can sacrifice it to destroy each non-land permanent with mana value equal to the number of oil counters on the Filigree Xylex. And we can tap it to remove 10 oil counters from among permanents you control and sacrifice it to deal 10 damage to any target. So that last ability is rarely going to happen. Really, we're playing this as a ratchet bomb for low mana decks like the aggressive decks or Convoke or whatever. So you're going to be selecting 11 of these 17 cards to add to your sideboard, 5 of these 14 cards to add to your main deck, and then you have your very own but stock version of Jeskai Oculus in Standard. If you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social medias. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.